Hey! Do you find that the dead make great listeners? Were you that kid that got called weird for bringing roadkill to school? Well, congratulations! You might be an Undead Warlock. But what is an Undead Warlock? Well, attend your own funeral to see who said the nicest stuff, try to be content with your only meals consisting of blood and brains, and see if you can do anything about the rotting smell, because
you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead and out of this world.
Death. The long sleep. The inevitable peaceful conclusion for every living being that ever has been or ever will be. Who's got time for that shit? Sounds like a bunch of hoo-ha made up by someone without a little macabre ingenuity. You see, there's plenty of ways to shake off death's quote-unquote inevitability. You just gotta know the loopholes. Liches, vampires, zombies, Dick Cheney, they've all found ways to keep existing longer than they should have by leeching off those still amongst the living. But becoming something as terrifying as a lich, or as conniving as a vampire, or as repulsive as old Tricky Dick,
what the hell is even that?
Is still a lot of work. Maybe there's a way to make this easier? Oh yeah, we'll just become a fanboy of one of these guys. Have you ever wanted the ghastly demeanor, the dark occult magics, and extremely creaky knees of the recently reanimated? Then I have the subclass for you. The Undead Warlock takes all the best parts of being unalive without actually having to die first. And while some may see this as dipping your toes into the dark side, we understand that it just makes way more sense to be on the team whose whole shtick is outliving consequences. But first, well, the summer is over and that means pumpkin spice season is fast upon us. But what do our seafaring pals do in the spooky months? Wear a sweater to the beach, help your pumpkins get a suntan, or go on an epic adventure to battle pirates, sea monsters, and eldritch abominations? Well, if you're like me, you can go ahead and sign up for Sink! You heard me right, you scurvy landlubbers! Take to the ocean and try to survive as the deep's mighty warlocks are fast upon you. Get your very own magical tattoos like a true pirate, and annoy your party by saying every line like Mr. Krabs. Sorry about that. Sink is the only way to go on an epic deep-sea adventure and get these amazing magical tattoos created in the traditional American style. But that's not all. The sea is dangerous for those unaccustomed to her temperament, so you'll need to do battle as one of 4 new subclasses like the Spellskin Wizard, the Tidesong Bard, or the Mistbreaker Ranger, as well as play with 50 new items, the Soul Link hit die mechanic, and modular dungeons so you can jump right in. All of this and so much more can be found on the Kickstarter at the link below, so for your next adventures on the deep sea, hit that link and try not to sink. Just don't forget to tell them Yumba sent you. A huge thanks to the awesome creators behind Sink! And now, back to the show. So maybe you've taken a peek behind the mystic curtain of the afterlife and realized this whole dying business may not be your thing. What can you do about it? Well, the quickest way to prolong your life may be eating the occasional salad or going on a daily jog, but it's way more fun to just become a warlock. Warlocks are unique because their abilities are tied to a deal with some otherworldly entity. And while I'd love to tell you that many super powerful godlike beings are cool with you overstaying your mortal welcome, the truth is, if you want the secret to immortality, you probably gotta be a little bad. The book lists plenty of dastardly dudes you can make a pact with, like Captain Ribcage of Vecna himself, or Vampire Cass, the way more attractive than he should be, but we can pretty much ask anything that's died and come back to be our undead sugar daddy. Looking at you, Goku. Which also means we get something in return for our undying servitude. And that would be a little pact magic. Pact magic are spells from your patron that help you fulfill their malicious machinations, and spells like Bane or False Life that you get for free can force creatures to take a penalty to their attacks and saves, or give yourself more temporary hit points in a pinch. But it's spooky season, baby! So we better suit up. As a bonus action, we can also channel that spooky goth girl energy into yourself and create a form of dread. This transformation reflects a bit of your undead patron, so whoever you chose to make a secret handshake with will appear in your visage. This is obviously quite a sight for everyone around you, so when you hit a creature with an attack roll, they must make a wisdom saving throw or be frightened of you for a round. Your form also grows more sturdy, gaining temporary hit points equal to 1d10 plus your warlock level, and immunity to the frightened condition because duh. But this is the perfect weapon to use against some self-righteous cleric or overzealous paladin trying to send you to the bad place for the simple crime of being good at staying alive. But it's already 2nd level, which means invocations, and we're gonna move fast, so try to keep up. This build is a true to its core blaster caster, so we're super focused on making that Eldritch Blast sing the scariest song we know.
From the screen to the ring to the pen. You could shut the fuck up.
And since we already gained the ability to fill the britches of any creature hit by our blasphemous little blasts, we might as well enhance them further with Agonizing Blast for extra damage and Lance of Lethargy to slow them by 10 feet so they can't even run away. Third level gets us a Pact Boon, and while I actually think Blade, Tome, and Talisman could work here, I think I'm gonna go with the Pact of the Chain. The reason is utility based mostly, but having an extra companion on the battlefield is never not good. But this imp's ability to fly and do good damage is a great choice to combo with your Eldritch Blast, and he'll get better and a little more annoying as we level up.
I'd give her a ha, then a hi-ya, and then a woo-ah, and I'd kick her, sir.
Which will get us second level spells like Blindness, Deafness, do scare a creature so badly their eyes melt out of their face, or crush the eardrums of everyone around you with the sound of your Aztec death flute. But we'll also get Phantasmal Force, an amazing and super mean spell, forcing the creature to make an intelligence saving throw or see whatever you put into their mind as a real thing, nightmares included. The creature believes the nightmare to be a real thing and will act accordingly. But if you tell the nightmare to do damage to the creature, it'll take 1d6 psychic until it shakes the spell. Sorry, if it shakes the spell.
Oh my god, I almost died! No. I almost died! That was so scary, thank you.
It's okay, it's alright.
Fifth level gets us another invocation, Voice of the Chainmaster, to see, hear, and speak through your familiar. Amazing for infiltration, especially with an invisible imp. Imagine all the real nightmares you can create with this little asshole saying creepy stuff in people's ears.
I smell like beef. I smell like beef.
And we'll get 2 more packed spells. Speak with Dead is great, allowing you to communicate with the echoes of someone's consciousness, but only up to 5 questions. They're dead. They've got better stuff to do than to give you directions to the nearest Buc-ee's, as well as Phantom Steed. Come on, man. Who doesn't want a ghost horse to ride into battle? This shit is so cool. Basically, you get another buddy on the field, except this time you can ride it like the Headless Horseman into whatever idiot decides to stand in front of you. And while it may not be the fiercest combatant, the motherfucker has a speed of 100 feet, almost double a regular horse, and a way longer range than most maps. Essentially, your job is to ride into battle, blasting away at anything you can see, slowing the baddies, making them afraid of you, and circling back to do it again. Oh my god, that's nasty. Level 6 will get us Grave Touched. Now that you've been touched by a fallen angel of undeath, your body begins to change with it. Now, not only do you no longer need to eat, drink, or breathe, you can push all that undead magic beyond its normal means and change any type of damage you deal on an attack roll to necrotic instead. This, combined with the fact that your form of dread now allows you to add an additional damage die to that necrotic damage, you are cranking serious power on Eldritch Blasts. That's 2d10 plus your charisma modifier, while also slowing and frightening your targets. Jesus, guys, this is a cantrip. So grab Investment of the Chainmaster as another invocation, letting you use a bonus action to command your familiar to take an attack, and giving it a flying and swimming speed of 40 feet, even if it already kinda has one, and a few other buffs to turn your imp into a pimp. 2 more pack spells for Death Ward, which is a free deadly bonk on the head before you pop right back to 1 hit point, and greater invisibility to cast an attack while invisible. Stupid good for this build. Basically an invisible machine gun at this point. Oh, unholy Vecna, that's mean. We'll get another invocation at level 9 with Gift of the Ever-Living Ones, which lets you regain max hit points while your familiar's within 100 feet of you. That's pretty nice. My pets make me feel good too. And that'll bring us to our last 2 packed spells. Anti-Life Shell is a bubble that keeps those living dorks away from you, not allowing any creature that isn't an undead buddy or a robot for some reason to pass through the 10-foot bubble. But you can still cast spells through it, which is great for a defensive field. Or Cloud Kill, a nasty cloud of death doing 5d8 poison damage on a failed con save to any creatures you fart on. But even though our spells are done, we sure aren't. Unlike the living, the undead continue to get more powerful the longer they live on, and we can do the same with our necrotic husk. Being in tune with the darkness of the other side, we gain resistance to necrotic damage or immunity if we're in the form of dread. But we also get to do some straight zombie shit and rise from our own graves. Now, anytime we're reduced to 0 hit points, we can spend our reaction to drop to 1 instead, causing our undead soul to erupt in necrotic power. This forces any creature you choose within 30 feet to take 2d10 plus your warlock level in necrotic damage. Now, as cool as this sounds, it is a bit risky, as this move causes you to take a level of exhaustion and you can't regain the ability for 1d4 days. But this pretty much makes you a necrotic time bomb, causing a big blast of damage if you ever get dogpiled in a fight. But lucky for you, I'm done with spells. This video is already getting long. So instead we'll get a
Mystic Arcanum,
which acts just like spells. Damn it. I won't bore you with the details, but Circle of Death, Finger of Death, Maddening Darkness, or Power Word Kill are right up your alley if you get to those levels. So go crazy and have fun sending enemies to the place you hopefully never have to also go. 12th level invocations are fun for another upgrade to our magic gun with Repelling Blast to knock enemies back by 10 feet with no save. But we'll wrap up our final undead ability with Spirit Projection. You won't be a real master of the undying arts without the ability to shed that silly flesh sack every now and then and hang out with your ghost bros. For 1 hour you can hop out of your body, leaving it on the ground behind you, and gain a bunch of buffs to your ghostly form, like resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, a flying speed, the ability to move through people and objects, necromancy or conjuration spells no longer need material, verbal, and somatic components, which is wild, and if you turn on your form of dread while ghosting around, each time you deal necrotic damage you regain hit points equal to half the damage you dealt. Holy ghost shit, that is good. Which more than makes up for the fact that you gotta hold concentration on this ability like a spell, and any damage you take you share with your physical form. Which means if you drop concentration or for some reason your body is brought to 0 hit points, like, I don't know, the baddies throw you off a bridge, you could be in serious trouble. But hey, don't think about it too much. We have 100 ways to keep people far away, and if all else fails, we can just let the barbarian C3POS around for a while. It's not a big deal. So we'll wrap it up fast with invocations like Chains of Carceri. To cast Hold Monster once a long rest for free, Eldritch Blasting is fun, but even better at advantage, and Shroud of Shadow at level 18 to go invisible at will so you and your imp can hang out in weird places and spook the townsfolk. But finally we'll get Eldritch Master at level 20 to talk up your undead patron's plans for world domination for 1 minute and regain all your spell slots at once. So, is the Undead Warlock the perfect gift for the spooky season? The Undead Warlock is really good. Holy cow, it may be the best pure Eldritch Blast Warlock yet, and that's saying something. Your ability to frighten creatures while slowing, repelling, and dealing a ton of extra damage is outstanding. You really are a nightmare with this many effects that can be triggered repeatedly on the same guy or multiple, whatever suits your needs. And that's not even mentioning your spells, bud. That's just a cantrip. This subclass is in many ways an apology for the Undying Warlock, which is so stinky I may not even cover it, but I think they made up for that in a big way. You've got so much potential for high damage and effects, and while I chose the Imp mostly for flavor and fun, this could work just as well on a Martial with the Blade Pact or extra spells with the Tome Pact. It's just that good. I think what I like most is the focus of this subclass, and while I can see some making an argument that a few of the minor addendums to your abilities could hold stuff back, the great thing about Warlocks is that they are meant to be built how you want them. So you can swap invocations that suit you better or take spells that make more sense for your character. The only weakness of this subclass is that you are very reliant on necrotic damage. So if your DM feels like being mean and throws a big bat at you that's resistant or immune to necrotic, you may have to work around your own build. But if that's the only complaint, we're in a really good place. And while I think you've got what it takes to be a 1 to 20 subclass, multiclassing with Shadow Sorcerer, Spirits Bard, or any slightly evil paladin could make sense both mechanically and thematically, which is a lot of spooky fun. So if you just bought the perfect house at the backside of a dead-end street, or the reason they build fences around graveyards, and have brought the occasional date over to the mausoleum because it's just so necromantic, guess what? You might be an Undead Warlock. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Today I have a fitting quote from the author of Frankenstein, Mary Shelley, which, by the way, if you're interested, was probably one of the most goth people in history. This lady kept the remains of her husband's calcified heart on her desk. Lady was rad as hell. Anyway, she once said, "Beware, for I am fearless and therefore powerful." A really badass quote from a weird, cool person. I can't count how many times I've regretted not doing something because I was scared. So, as corny as it sounds, try not to let fear get in the way of doing the thing you want, even if it's terrifying. But either way, I'm still proud of you. A huge thanks to the patrons over on Patreon, and if you want your name up here like these fine folks, you can join the link in the description and get a shout out for just $1, with top-tiered patrons getting games DM'd by me. So Miles Not Yard, Saurus Sen, King Osiris, Spider Lover, and Tedsy, y'all are the best, and I can't wait to play again. To everyone else, come see me over on the Discord. We're always doing fun stuff over there, but until next time, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you again very soon.